how long term safe is it? How long term safe is its use, and what's the longest you've known people to consume? Um, yeah, well, I found Qenda like 8 years ago, so yeah, I've been having it for 8 years. I think it was around in Australia for 5 to 10 years previously. So yeah, I can tell you on my own experience really, because I'm the person in my life that's had the Qenda more than anyone I know. Um, Generally, other than a few customers and stuff, but as with any protocol, you don't want to have it every single day for the rest of your life, otherwise your body just sort of gets used to it. So you want to have like a day or two off here or there. And even if you don't want to have a day off Qenda, you can replace it with the everyday fibre. But just to answer your question clearly, is like 8 years, and then obviously I've been having a few little breaks in between, but I've been having it most mornings for 8 years, and then twice a day, probably for um, at least two of those years as well. So yeah, I only really talk about people that I know and that I can be sure of. So I'll just talk about myself. Yeah, I've been having Qenda for 8 years, mate. Um, like I said, long term use, ideally, you don't want to be having it twice a day, every day for the rest of your life. You can go on to the everyday fibre as well, if you wanted to do that instead. But yeah, like what I recommend to people, use it as a cleanse, have a bit of time off, and then go back onto it when you need it. If you're going to be busy, if you're going to be traveling, eating crap food, anything like that, that's um, when I recommend having it as well, because it's just going to help keep your body in balance. Um, I realised I had mold in my house quite recently as well, and that when I was trying to determine what was wrong with my health, it turns out it was actually mold in my ensuite bathroom. So yeah, I actually moved out of this house, moved into my camper van. But anyway, the point of that is because I was trying to figure out what was going on in my body for a while. And I had the mold in the house, and I was doing everything else, but I never fixed the mold. I ended up relying on the Qenda for a very long time. So that's why I had it for nearly 8 years. Sorry, I've got my messages on. Someone was like, "I need two Qenda." Yes, you do.